college football season is about a month away, so here are my Big Ten power rankings for the football season. This is Result Report. I am Isaac, and let's start with number 18, which I have the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. It's been a year since they've been bowling. They did not go last season. They went the year before that with Kyle Monungai, but they don't have him anymore. And we've seen last season, it was a struggle to get them some wins in conference. They were 3-0 non-conference, and I think it's realistic for them to get that again. You've got UMass, Boston College, and Howard. Those are pretty easy games. But once you get to conference play, I don't necessarily think that their quarterback battle with Dylan Lonergan, the transfer from Boston College, and AJ Suris, the Rutgers man that has not really had any game experience, I don't think it's realistic to expect them to compete very well against teams like USC, Indiana, Maryland, Northwestern, and Michigan State at the end of the year. I feel like that's the game where they have the best chance of winning, but I just don't find them a team to expect to get a bunch of wins. At number 17, I have Michigan State. Last season was not the best for them. They had to fire a coach, and he had had success previously at Oregon State, but it did not work out for them last season. They hired Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern, who was there a few years ago. He has not been coaching for the last couple of seasons. He has a 110 and 101 record in 17 seasons with the Wildcats, and they have Alessio Miljovic, I don't know how to pronounce his name. That's who's coming back at quarterback for them, and he filled in for Aiden Childs when Childs was injured. Childs transferred to Northwestern. Christian McCray will come back. He is the transfer from Penn State from a few years ago. And Michigan State, though, their schedule is also pretty difficult. In the non-conference, they've got to face Toledo, Eastern Michigan, and Notre Dame. And in conference, they've got Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern, UCLA, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, and Rutgers. I think they're better than Rutgers because they, have a more experienced quarterback, and their defense is a little bit more returning, but still, I don't think they're going to have that great of a season. I have them going 3-9 and 1-8 in the Big Ten with a win in the final week 13 at Rutgers. At 16, I have the Purdue Boilermakers, who have lost 18 conference games in a row, which is 0-9 2 years in a row. Their last conference win was 2023 against Indiana, a 35-31 victory. They have been bowling since 2022. The Ryan Walters thing was a disaster, and now Barry Odom's here in year 2 with a 2-10 record. For them, I think they should be able to get some conference wins this year, which is why I have them going 3-9, 2-7 in the Big Ten. Because last season, there just weren't many games where it made sense for them to win. The Rutgers game was the only game they had against a Big Ten team that was a bowl team, a team that did not go bowling. And this year, they have more manageable games. Like Wake Forest in week 2, I think that one shapes their season. Wake Forest has Gio Lopez. If Purdue wins that one, they could be like a Mississippi State type team that could be hunting a bowl game, possibly. But Purdue is going to need to get some wins, and that's the most important thing. They've got UCLA on the road. We don't know what's happening with them, but I'm pretty high on them. Notre Dame, that's probably a loss. Illinois, Minnesota, Washington, Penn State, Maryland, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Indiana. You could probably find 2 or 3 wins on there, maybe 4 if they are better than we think they are. They've got Ryan Brown coming back, and we'll see what they can do. At number 15, I have the Maryland Terrapins. They have Malik Washington coming back, but it is safe to say that Mike Locksley is on the hot seat after what's happened the last 2 seasons, going 4-8. Last season was a 1-8 Big Ten finish with 8 losses to conclude the season, 8 in a row. That's not very good, and a lot of them were not competitive losses. They lost to Indiana 55-10, 35-20 to Rutgers, and they lost to Michigan State by 10, who until that point had not won a single conference game. So Maryland, we're going to need to see a little bit more. Mike Locksley's got to do something or else he will be fired. At number 14, I might get flamed for this take, but I have the Illinois Fighting Illini. This is supposed to be a transition year, and that's what head coach Brett Bielema said. They should not expect to be a great team. I have them going 6-6. I have every team above them as well going to a bowl game, so I'm pretty high on the Big Ten and being competitive and beating each other up in the middle of the pack type teams. But they are losing Luke Altmaier, and he was very big for them. They have Khalil Valentine coming back, and Colin Dixon, Hudson Clement, Caden Hauser coming in at quarterback, the East Carolina transfer. They are a pretty good, they're a well-coached team with Brett Bielema. He's been able to get them to bowl games frequently, Though this season, I think it might be a little bit more of a struggle. They got Oregon on their schedule and Ohio State. Those are two tough games, and in the non-conference, they've got to play Duke as well. I think Illinois should be able to get to a bowl, but we just don't know what's happening here with a new quarterback coming in and defenses lacking starters returning. At number 13, I have the Wisconsin Badgers. A reason that they finished 4-8 last season was definitely because of the schedule. They had one of the hardest schedules in the entire country, and that is definitely going to be a consequence of going 4-8. Like, you're going to have to face hard teams, and now they've got a little bit easier of a schedule this time, and I think they can do it. They've got transfers Abu Sama III from Iowa State and Colton Joseph from Old Dominion, who led them to a great season last season in the Sun Belt. And I think, well, now that they've got Eugene Hilton coming back and Chris Brooks, they've got some more returning players, but Luke Fickell is on the hot seat. If they don't get to a bowl game, he's probably out at Wisconsin. And I think they can go 6-6. They can be a surprise team. They've got a great opportunity in Green Bay in week 1 against Notre Dame, and we'll see what they can do. If it's not good, then I'm wrong, but I believe in this team to do a little bit more than what they did last season. At number 12, I have the Northwestern Wildcats. I have them finishing 6-6. Their schedule is also very difficult, so if they might not be able to get to a bowl game. I still am a believer in this team, and if they faced an easier schedule, they could be like a 7 or 8 win team. They went 7-6 last season, got to a bowl game, and I think that David Braun has the Wildcats going in the right direction. They have Aiden Childs, a Michigan State transfer, who was very promising, just didn't get many wins, and he got injured last season. So they can be a great team this year, and I am very optimistic with them. They have Chip Kelly coming in at offensive coordinator, and they've got returning running back and wide receiver. Northwestern should be one of those teams that you don't just write them off. And at number 12 in the Big Ten, that is not a low ranking. I'm just saying the Big Ten is very, very deep. At number 11, I've got the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is year 4 now under Matt Rule, who has gone 19-19. And they've got Anthony Colandrea coming in from UNLV, previously at Virginia at quarterback. And they lost Dylan Raiola to the transfer portal to Oregon. He got injured late in the season, but they had a 6-2 start. If that didn't happen, who knows what could have happened? It could have been a 9-win season, maybe even 10 with the bowl game they were looking at. So Nebraska was off to a great start. They just got pummeled at the end of the season last year. Matt Rule has definitely got this program going in the right direction, but I think this time it might be harder to get wins now that you're losing Dylan Raiola, who is a very big part of their team. But they've got 14 returning starters, 6 on offense, 6 on defense, and the special teams. So I think I'm very excited about Nebraska this season to maybe have a chance to beat Indiana or Ohio State, possibly. But if everything goes on plan, they should probably be like a 6-6, maybe 7-5 type team. I have them at 7-5 right now. At number 10, I've got the UCLA Bruins with Bob Chesney coming in from James Madison at head coach. They were returning Nico Iamaleava at QB. Last season was pretty weird for them. They started 0-4. We were concerned, are they even going to win a single game? They got a few. They upset Penn State. They lost Northwestern. They beat Michigan State. They beat Maryland. And then they lost everything else for the rest of the season. But still, they have a good coach here. Bob Chesney has had success. He has won everywhere he's been. He is 132-52, brought the James Madison Dukes to the college football playoff. So I believe in this team in UCLA. And he's not as good as Kurt Cignetti because his was more like sustained success. Cignetti was building the programs up. But still, UCLA can be more of like a bowl-type team, and I have them upsetting USC in Week 13. This is just like a prediction, and we don't even know what these teams look like yet. But they certainly have a good chance to do something special in this season. At number 9, I have the Minnesota Golden Gophers. PJ Fleck has had sustained success with Minnesota. He's 7-0 in bowls, and it's regular for them to go to bowl games. Even in a down year, 5-7 a few years ago, they still got to go to a bowl, and then they won the bowl game, finishing 6-7. So after an 8-5 season, they have Drake Lindsey returning. They won all their home games last year. I don't think they'll go 8-4. They might not have that type of improvement, but still a great team that they've got. They have Darius Taylor returning. He was big for them at running back, and the defense has some guys coming back. Overall, they have good continuity, so that should help them. And PJ Fleck is just a coach that you can trust to do what they do and win. At number 8, I have the Washington Huskies, and this might be a little low for them, but I think they'll go 8-4. They're a team that could have a very high ceiling and go like 10-2 if they have a great year. They get chances against Indiana, they get to play Oregon, USC, and these are opportunities, but they're also very difficult games. And also in the offseason, they had a very weird thing. Like Damon Williams wanted more money, then he left, he sued them, and then came back. It was pretty weird, but I think they're all on good terms now. He's a great player. He had 25 touchdowns through the air last season and 6 on the ground. So he's a great two-way type player that they have. They've got Desmond Roebuck coming back at wide receiver. I think Washington, with Jedd Fisch, he's a trustworthy coach that can build them a good program to be sustained successfully. And at number 7, I have Iowa. They finished 9-4 last season after a bowl win. I have them going 9-3 this year and winning their final 6 games. They've got a tough stretch in September and October with Michigan, Ohio State, and Washington. But after that, they really have an easy road. They've got Minnesota, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska. Those are all middle-of-the-pack teams, and they should be able to get those because I think Iowa should be like a top 25 team. You've got Hank Brown returning as a backup quarterback. He is going to be starting this season, and just trusting in what Kirk Ferentz does. He's the all-time winningest coach in the Big Ten, and Iowa, you can always trust them to have a great defense and win some games, win 8 games or so. I think this time they can get 9, and we'll see what Hank Brown can do. If he's good, then certainly they can go 9-3. If not, then maybe it's like a 7-5 type year where they can get to a bowl again. But they will go bowling, I promise you. At number 6, I have Penn State, and their schedule is very easy, which is why they could have a great record. I think they're going to go 9-3. They could go 10-2 if they can just get one upset win against. I think they're going to lose to Washington, USC, and Michigan. But if they can win one of those games, then now you're looking at a team that could go 10-2 and make the playoffs, maybe even 11-1, because their schedule is very, very easy, and they could find themselves in the Big Ten championship game. You've got a lot of Iowa State players coming there: Matt Campbell, the head coach; Rocco Beck, the quarterback; Ben Brahmer, the tight end, and more players that they got coming in. They're supposed to be top 25 right away. Rocco Beck, the quarterback, has been one of the best Iowa State players in their history. So they're a good team, and I feel like they have a chance to do something special, which James Franklin, he couldn't get them to anywhere further than the semifinals. Maybe in a few years, Penn State could be near the mountaintop. But this is the first year under Matt Campbell, so it might not be as much as what they were expecting last season. Number 5, I have Michigan. Last season was a great year for them in the first year under Bryce Underwood, except the ending was very weird. Sharon Moore got fired for all the scandal stuff, and they looked stuck, except they found Kyle Whittingham from Utah, and he has a chance to fix them. Bryce Underwood last season did not have a quarterbacks coach, and that is a problem. Quarterback coach are very important for a team, and now they have a quarterbacks coach, which should help him. He only had 11 touchdowns last season, though, and 9 interceptions, but they also have Jordan Marshall coming back at running back, and Andrew Marsh from wide receiver. Michigan doesn't really have that many returning defensive starters, but I think they are a perennial team that continues to be relevant in football. They were 9-2 and were even in talks for the college football playoff if they could beat Ohio State last season. Didn't happen. But Kyle Whittingham has a chance to turn the program around, and I think that they can keep moving up. At number 4, I have USC. This could finally be the breakthrough year for Lincoln Riley, where he can bring his team to the college football playoff with USC. You've got Jade Mayava coming back, King Miller, Tanuk Hines, and they've just got a lot of returning players. Overall, they've got 14, 8 on offense, 5 on defense, and a kicker. Also, they were good last season as well. They were 9-4. They lost Mekhi Lemon, but if they had him in the bowl game, that's probably a 10-3 year. And they have chances at Indiana. They can beat Ohio State. They can beat Oregon. Also, this could end up being like an 8-4 type year if they don't win the big games. So this could be a very good playoff team, maybe top 5 at some point, or they could fall unranked in some point of the season. At number 3, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're looking at that right. I have them going 9-3 because the schedule is a gauntlet. I think they're going to lose to Texas in week 2 because Texas is at home. Texas now has Cam Coleman that they added. Ohio State brought a lot of offensive players back, 8 offensive returning starters. Only 3 on defense, though, from a defense that was very elite last season. And they're going to have to win some big games, and there's no way around it. Their schedule consists of Texas at Iowa, which is a very big trap game, and we know that. They could be top 25 in that game. Indiana on the road at USC. Oregon at Nebraska, which could be a trap as well, and Michigan. These are very losable games, and they're going to have to make sure they only lose 2 the entire season. And that's just to barely get into the college football playoff. I think that there's a chance that they could lose 3 or maybe even 4 games and start like 6-3. They're going to have to figure something out. Maybe I'm just doubting them, but I feel like there's a good chance they miss the playoffs with 12 teams. At number 2, I have Indiana, and I still have this feeling that it might be a little too low because Curt Cignetti has done so much for this program. 27-2 in 2 seasons, and they've got Josh Hoover coming in from TCU. He has great stats, but his decision-making could be a little better. He threw interceptions last season. He had 15 turnovers over the last 15 turnovers last year. Indiana had 17 turnovers in the last 2 seasons combined. But Curt Cignetti likes to fix these problems. Like, turnovers have not been an issue. Indiana has been very disciplined over the last couple of seasons, and it's realistic to expect them to be a top 5 team. They've got Charlie Becker coming back at wide receiver, Nick Marsh as well, a Michigan State transfer. He was one of the top transfers, and they are just continuing to reload. This is the most talent Cignetti's ever had, but will the ego get in the way, which there is likely some ego going on. Still, they should definitely be a favorite for the national championship, and I still think they're a little slept on. But at number 1, I have the Oregon Ducks with Dante Moore, who will likely be the Heisman favorite, him or Arch Manning. You have Jordan Davison returning a running back, and Decory Moore, Jeremiah McClellan, Evan Stewart as well, who missed last season with an injury, wide receiver. He was there when they had Dylan Gabriel. Oregon should be, again, a really good team. They have been under Dan Lanning. He's 48-8 there in 4 seasons. And they should be, again, this time, one of the championship favorites, if not the title favorite to start the season. So this is my Big Ten power rankings to start the season. We'll see if it works out. I think I did a pretty good job with this one, but tell me what you think in the comments. With the record predictions, I did predict every single game. I feel like I might have gotten some of the games wrong, but overall, they will probably be pretty accurate with how they are. Maybe I underrated or overrated some of your teams, but just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.